Cool. 3, 2, 1.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's open house, the first ever open house for the RTT school. This is really exciting. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and we've got the absolute best people here to guide you through all this. But go ahead and put in the chat, where's everybody from? Where's everybody coming in from throughout the world? I see it. We're cruising. Lots of people from all over the place coming in here. We got Los Angeles, London, Istanbul. Ooh, more London, Germany, Gothenburg, Mumbai, Colorado Springs, Montreal, Mexico, Michigan, Switzerland, Florida, Liverpool, Seattle, Latvia. Oh my God, it's coming so fast. Dallas, Amsterdam. Oh, wow. Texas, Hungary, Minnesota, Arizona, Scotland, Warsaw, Denmark. I got lots of UK, Greece, Lanzarote, not sure where that is. That's awesome. Philippines, Denmark. Wow, someone in the Philippines is on right now. That's like 3 a.m. your time. I'm so excited that you made this. Hong Kong also, crazy time zone. Really honored that you're making time to be here. Dubai, Ireland, West Sussex, Canada, Vienna and Austria, UAE, Idaho, Yorkshire. Starting to get a hang of all the different accents. Iceland, Mozambique is here in the house representing. Botswana, I've heard, is essentially the same thing as Wakanda, but in real life. I've heard Botswana is one of the only countries that does not have a debt. They actually have a surplus, so that's pretty incredible. Munich, Sri Lanka, Mallorca. Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome everyone for being here on this first ever RTT Open House webinar. I'm going to pass it off really soon to the people that are going to be hosting you through our classical RTT education process. So let me tell you a little bit about where this got dreamed up and why this webinar is happening. I have gotten to see more and more of the inside view of what it's like to become an RTT student and to sign up for the course, which is, between 6 months and 12 months. And most people, when they start their training to become a rapid transformational therapist or coach, they are bewildered by how much content there really is and how elaborate the training is and how much we've put behind this and how many people are involved in making sure that you're going to be super successful as a therapist and really have such a breadth of knowledge and skills and time to practice and time to experience the various tools, the 13 tools that we talk about in the training for RTT. And so what I thought would be wonderful for everyone here to experience, if you've ever considered becoming an RTT therapist, is to get a little bit of a taste of what it's like to be in a virtual classroom and to get to experience some teaching as if you were already in the course itself. And so for that purpose, I've brought on Sarah Sheldon, the head of curriculum and delivery for all of the RTT school. She's an absolute legend and just a wonderful human being. And she's brought on the head tutor, Katarina, and Michelle, another tutor with the company. And so they're going to be here guiding you today, teaching you one of their exercises they thought would be appropriate for this webinar for all of you to get to experience today. We're going to have time for Q&A at the very end, and I'll join you kind of throughout to help guide things. But for now, I'm going to pass it off to the wonderful Sarah.
Well, thank you, Skip. What a great introduction, and how nice to meet so many people from all around the world. It's really, really heartwarming. So actually, as a team, we do come from quite a lot of different locations. I'm based in the UK. I've done a lot of NGO work in Africa, so I really love all those people coming there from Southern Africa. That really warms my heart, so welcome to you guys. Kat is from Eastern Europe, so she's going to really love all the people coming from that part of the world. And Michelle is based in Mexico, so she's right over the other side of the world. So we're all over the place, and we really welcome you all here. We're really glad that you've joined us for this time. So we've got a short time together, but in that time, our aim is to give you a real taste of what it might be like to be a student. So we're going to take you through a couple of activities, but also we want to kind of give you a bit of the sense of the heart behind the activities that we do. Because we're very much also invested in RTT and what that means for us in our lives. when we do the training, there's always an online component. So it's blended learning. There's modules that have got lots and lots of amazing content in. And then you come on to sessions like this, which are online on Zoom, and you work either in a larger setting, or you might go off in some breakout rooms and do some smaller parts of the work. But that's where you can put the technique into action. You can meet other students that you're working with, and it's very live and interactive and exciting. So that's what we want to do today, is give you a bit of a taste of all of those things in a little tiny microcosm. So we are going to take you through a little bit about helping you know some things about the power of the mind that you might not have heard of before. So a little bit of teaching there. Then we're going to get you involved in a bit of an activity as well. We want to make it interactive, because all the learning that we do in the school is fun, because when you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself, you always learn more anyway that way. And we're going to get you involved in a little hypnosis activity as well. So a little bit exciting there for you to experience hypnosis if you haven't done that for your first time. And then, as Skip said, at the end, there'll be time for your questions. So if you've got questions that come up during what we're doing today, or things that you think about at the end, about how the learning's structured, things that you might want to know, then pop them in the chat, and we can hopefully get round to answering lots of those questions at the end. All right, but before we start jumping into the learning side, there's a little bit that we'd like you to do now. And that is just have a little think about when you've maybe gone away from this today, maybe, at the end of your day, and imagining you're kind of like your best self. You're in that place where you're feeling really fired up and good about yourself. What are some things that you might want to be thinking about yourself? So say, for example, you love to have a sense of excitement and confidence about what's ahead. You might want to feel inspired and full of purpose. You might just want to feel at peace with yourself. So just invite you now just to pop in a few things in the chat, maybe just like a little phrase about something that you would like as your kind of really go to, what you'd like to feel. We've still got the hellos coming through. Pop those in. Confident and balanced. I love that one. To be more confident. Yeah, wouldn't we all love to feel more confident? That's a really good one. Empowered. Really like that. Energized, excited, loving all these things coming through. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to capture a few of these little things. Successful, love that. Mindful, peaceful, beautiful. Really great job. And we're going to try and incorporate some of that into our little hypnosis exercise later on. So keep them coming. Kat's working behind the scenes, quickly grabbing them all for us to be able to do that. So thank you, Kat. All right, good. So one of the brilliant things about being a student of RTT, like I said, is you get to do the classrooms like this. You get to study at your own pace, but there's lots and lots of things for you to dip out and into in your own time. One of the powerful things about RTT, as much as the technique and Marisa and everything else that's so wonderful, is the quality of the people that help support the student journey. So we have the trainers who are amazing. They run the live events and they're on some of the virtual classrooms. We've also got our team of tutors, and all of these guys are just so knowledgeable. But not only that, it's the heart that they have. It's not just a learned experience for us. This is something that very much comes from a place of, we all love RTT. We don't just love it, we live and breathe RTT. It's our passion. We've all had our lives changed as a result of RTT. And we're all seeing clients, we're all working with it, and on a day-to-day level as well, and always honing our skills and wanting the very best. And that's what we bring into the heart of what we do with the students. We really want, more than anything, to see our students succeed and to get through the course and to have a life-changing experience in the process. So again, it's different from any other courses that you do. We're not just learning, we're kind of taking you through quite a personal journey as well. So the feedback that we get time and time again from people coming out the other end is like, wow, I can't believe what's happened. I can't believe how my life has shifted as a result of what I've done. So that being said, I wanted for us just to take a few minutes each just to talk about that personally, because I think that helps just create that little scene for you and for you to get a little bit of behind the scenes feeling about how each of us has arrived at this place in terms of what we're doing. So I'm going to kick off on that, and then I'll invite Kat and Michelle to share a few words on that as well. So for myself, I really have this belief that, you know, our life is about a story. We have a story about who we are. We have a story about, you know, it's a story that we tell people. I don't know if you've done online dating or you know, when you meet somebody for the first time, you rock up and you're like, hey, here I am. And, oh, tell me about yourself. And out comes your story. And your story is quite a mixture of the experiences you've had, maybe the places you've been, where you went to school, what your parents were like, what your teachers told you, all those kind of things, you know, what society and the media tell us about ourselves. So it's our story is encapsulated by a lot of different elements. And some of those are good and some of those are not so good. And when we're young, particularly, we're not very good at filtering out the stuff that's not so good. We kind of our minds latch onto that. And then the problem with that is sometimes that those stories can then easily become labels. You know, I'm sure you've all heard it. Oh, I'm the clever one, and maybe that's positive for you. Or I'm the not so clever one, but I'm the sporty one. I'm good at maths. Oh, I'm not so good at maths. Yeah, I'm the musical one. I'm the pretty one. I'm the whatever it is. You know, I'm sure you all resonate with that, and you've all had stories and things and labels that have kind of have been attached to you. And for most of our life, then it's quite difficult to move away from those labels. They kind of stick with us. And then those labels can kind of put us in a box and say, hey, this is you. And this is who you are. And this is always going to be who you are. You're not really able to move out of that box or those labels. And so for me, I had I had a highly performing dad. He was very, you know, he was a great man, but he was successful and he kind of expected his children to be successful. My elder sister was very academic. And so in that environment, I had sort of a fair amount of criticism sent my way. And so I started to have this belief, this inner belief and this label like, hey, well, you know, maybe I don't quite match up, you know, I'm not quite there, I'm not quite good enough. And that's something if you've heard Marisa talk about, she talks a lot about not being good enough. And so for me, that was a label that followed me really actually all through my life. It was a sense of like, oh, I don't really match up, and maybe somebody's going to catch me out on that. So like not wanting to speak up and be who I really was. And in many ways I was successful, but it got me into a situation where I wasn't in great relationships. I ended up, I'm going to go forward a long time because otherwise I'll be here for an hour telling you my story. But I ended up in Switzerland in a really bad relationship. I wasn't being treated well, and that's because I wasn't really knowing my own worth and who I was. And I remember very clearly on New Year's Eve thinking, Sarah, you are not going to go into next year with this. You know, you have to get past this. You're nearly 50 years old and you can't be living like this anymore. So I went online. I happened to hear Marisa talking and I loved what she said. It was incredible. It just boom, got me straight there in the heart. And it's like, wow, I love this message. I need to hear this. And so that got me on the whole path of RTT. I took an RTT session because I wanted to see how impactful it was going to be in my life. And it totally did change my life. It was like all those boxes suddenly went, I went past them. I did the training. I came on board with the school. And yeah, really, it's about breaking through those boxes and those barriers every single day of my life now. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm going to quickly pass on to Kat, and she'll tell you a little bit about her journey too.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. That was lovely to hear as well. Thanks for sharing. Hello, everyone. I am Kat, short for Katerina. I'm originally from Slovenia, but now I live in Scotland, UK, and I absolutely love it here. And that's kind of connected with my journey of RTT, actually. It's almost 6 years now since I've started this journey, and it's been the most incredible journey in my life. 6 years ago, I was a little bit lost, to be honest, didn't really know how to move on, where to move forward. And like Sarah, I also found Marisa online. And immediately I was like, yeah, this is what I want to learn. This is what I want to do. This sounds like exciting, but also she knows what she's talking about. So she got me there. And I went onto the live training with Marisa, and it was just the best thing ever in my life. Well, I'm getting quite emotional now, but something that really stayed with me from that course was one of the trainers said, you know, this is not just another course. This is a change of career. And it really was. The depth of the content that we learned, the depth of practice, of learning, it was really incredible. I didn't have any background in hypnotherapy or psychology or psychotherapy. So it was something completely new. And yet the course was designed in such a way that it really sank in my muscle memory as well. And so after the course, I was ready, I was competent, I was confident, and I felt so excited to start this new adventure, this new chapter. And why I love RTT? Well, I love working with people. I love working with their fears, with their needs, with their hopes, with their desires on a deepest level that can ever be, right? And I'm there helping them to reconnect with the power, helping them to get the answers that are inside them. I don't have them, but they do. And it's just so incredible to be part of that change that they are going through, because they are changing from inside out. And that what I do is rewarding. It doesn't really, that's not the right word. It's so much more than that. And I'll give you an example, because like Sarah said, it's all about stories, isn't it? A year ago, I had a client. She was 11 years old, and her mom reached out to me. She couldn't go to the toilet. She couldn't poo, okay? Her mind was actually so strong telling her, don't go poo, right? We didn't know why, but she didn't go to poo. She was actually hospitalized for it as well. So it was really severe. After one session, she's regular as a clock, okay? So getting a message from an 11-year-old saying, I feel excited about life, I feel amazing, I can go to the toilet. I mean, what more is there in life? For me, one of the quotes that resonate with me the most is, you know, be the change that you want to see in the world. And by being an RTT therapist, well, I am that change. So that's me, a little bit about myself.
Okay,
thanks, about RTT.
Michelle, I think what we'll do now is we'll just straight jump into some of the learning. We'll come back to you and we'll grab your story in a minute, if that's okay. So it's Skip, would you mind putting up the slide about the subconscious mind? So here's a little bit of the teaching that you would find in the course. So to give everybody a bit of example of what kind of teaching we do, it's really important for us to understand how the mind works, because when we can understand that, then we can learn how to apply that to our clients and what they're working with. So we use this image of the iceberg. Now with the mind, our conscious mind is like 5% of what's going on. So it's the bit above the water, this conscious part here. So it's only 5% of what's going on in our mind, which is quite surprising, isn't it? There's this huge amount under the surface that we don't see. 95% of what we're actually working with with our mind is the subconscious mind. So when we think about our conscious mind, that's when we're very engaged. That's our very kind of alert, active mind. That's when we're problem solving, maybe when we're talking to somebody, when we're creating a presentation for work. When we're thinking about our subconscious mind, that's what we call like our underneath program. So that's kind of when we're working on autopilot. When we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we're doing things in the day, we're not really, you know, we're thinking about other things in the meantime, but our body knows those programs. It's like programs. We're kind of hardwired to be able to just be able to do that as we're going through life. So that's a big driver of how we're operating. So say, for example, I'm sure you've all done this. You've been driving your car somewhere, and then you're in your head spinning off, and you're thinking about, oh, I had this argument with my boyfriend. Why did he say that? And blah 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 blah. And then so it goes on in your mind, and then you get home, and you're like, oh, I'm home. How did I even get here? I wasn't consciously thinking about it. But thankfully, your subconscious mind is so good at being able to do those things. It knows the technicality of how to drive the car. It will get you home anyway. So when we're using RTT, we're actually working with the power of the subconscious, because we understand the power of all these hardwired programs that are kind of operating systems. And as we go through life, our operating systems can get a little bit warped. They can need a little bit of a reset or a little bit of a clean off. And so that's where RTT is so effective. And so when we're working with the students, we're really very much teaching them how to understand that and how that works, so that then they can then go and take that and use that with their clients to harness the power of the subconscious mind, because that's where a lot of the operating systems are working at. So it's not like reading a book and then understanding it like that on that kind of level. We're really able to get right down deep to the root cause. So it's not like being putting a bandage on a wound. It's like being the surgeon. We can actually go into the body, and we can do the operation and find out what's not working and get in there and do that operation. So that's kind of like the equivalent of what we're doing with our clients when we're working with RTT. So just to help us understand that a little bit more, Michelle is going to now take us through a lovely demonstration, because we've got these rules of the mind. So that's a big part of our learning, understanding how the mind operates, under what rules, and what that does to affect our clients. So over to you, Michelle, to talk us through that.
Thank you, Sarah. So yes, in the RTT school, we have many rules of the mind. And today I'm going to talk about 2 rules of the mind specifically. The first one is the mind thinks in words and pictures. Okay, so write that down. That's a very good one. And another one is, when dealing with a subconscious mind, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to take you through an exercise, and I want to show you how your mind tunes into whatever you say and makes it real. Okay, so to all of you, just follow my lead. I want you to now put your hand in front of you as if you were holding something to eat. And once you have it this way, just close your eyes and just follow my voice. Okay. So I want you to imagine that in your hand, you have half of a juicy, big, fat lemon. And that big lemon is in your hand. Now I want you to put your hand closer to your nose. And I want you to imagine you're squeezing that lemon. And now take a deep smell there, and you can smell the lemon. Now squeeze it a little more, so a little of the juices come out of it. And now I want you to just squeeze the whole lemon into your mouth. Squeeze it, and now taste it. You have all the juice of that lemon in your mouth. Move it around your mouth. There it is. And now I want you to grab a bite of the lemon, of the flesh of the lemon. Grab a bite and start chewing it. And just move it around your mouth. It's moving there. And you can feel how your taste buds are producing saliva, and you're tasting it as well. And you can smell it, and you can taste it, and you can feel it. Okay. Very good. Well done. Now just take a deep breath and open your eyes. And just maybe in the chat, those of you who were able to taste that lemon, right? Just by saying it, I started producing saliva, right? Because that's how the mind works. You're just thinking about a lemon and it's already real for your mind. That's how the subconscious mind works. Okay. So we have many exercises that will let you know the power of your subconscious mind. I know it was too real, right? Just by thinking about it, it becomes real for the mind. And with the RTT school in the process, in your training, you will have a lot of experiences like this and knowing the power of it, because right now it's just a lemon, but we will use the subconscious mind and its power for better things, for meaningful things. Okay, so over back to Sarah.
Thank you, Michelle, for demonstrating that so clearly. I'm looking at all the comments in the chat. People's eyes were watering, and it's like, it's so real, isn't it? I'm a bit like, a couple of people put, yeah, I don't like the taste of lemons. I'm with you there. It's quite sour, isn't it? So to me, it's like, but I can still, the visual of the lemon is still so strong that it seems very, very real. So that a great little example there. All right, so our next exercise is, and I know I'm looking at the chat and I can see some of you have got lots and lots of questions about how the actual training works. Hold fire with us because we will get to those questions, but we just want to be able to take you through these exercises so you can just get that little flavor of experiencing a bit of a training situation. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to do an exercise which is called going to a happy scene. Now, when we're doing the training, this is something that we introduce first of all to our students because we want them to be able to take a client into hypnosis and see how that works and to get the buzz of how that feels when they've first done it. And before we go into dealing with any issues for clients, we want to create a safe place. So this is a real nice little tool that enables us to be able to take people to a lovely sense of something that feels happy, that feels really good for them, and enables our students to have that empowered feeling, knowing that they've been able to do hypnosis for the first time. So what we're going to do now is Kat's going to start to lead us into that exercise, and then we're going to integrate some of those phrases that we picked up from you earlier on as well. If you haven't experienced hypnosis before, don't be concerned. We're not going to start controlling you. It's really quite nice. People experience hypnosis in different ways. So for some people, they really go quite deeply into it. They feel very almost asleep. For some people, it's just a bit of a drowsy feeling. And for some other people, they may even just think, hey, I didn't even know if I was hypnotized. All those responses are fine and good. Okay, so you don't need to really question that. Maybe I've seen somebody say that, yeah, they're used to hypnosis. That's great. And like I say, if you haven't experienced it before, just have an open mind and be willing to go with the flow on this one. Or if you're really, feeling like you don't want to enter into that, that's also fine. You can just observe and sit on the sidelines and see how it works. So without further ado then, over to you, Kat. Would you like to take that away?
Thank you, yes. All right, so just before we go into this relaxed state, because that's what hypnosis really is, I'm just going to take you through an exercise, because we are going to start with looking up as high as you possibly can, all right? So that's what it means. You keep chin parallel to the floor, and you just roll your eyeballs as if you were trying to look up into your own eyebrows, okay? Just that. And you might feel a little bit straining, and that's absolutely all right. And as you keep looking up, just slowly close your eyelids right down, all the way down. So that's what it is. And once you've done that, you can just open your eyes, come back to the room. But that's what it is. It's just looking up. And then as you're looking up, slowly closing your eyelids down. And really what that does is that fluttering of your eyelids, which means REM, which is short for rapid eye movement, which is very natural. You are in that state throughout the day, mostly through the night, actually, when you're actually sleeping. When you're in REM state, you have actually these very vivid dreams usually. And it's sort of the first step physically to get connected to the subconscious mind, which means getting to your feeling mind, connected to your feelings, and just be very relaxed. So you kind of shut down a little that conscious mind, that rational mind, those thoughts going, you kind of shut it up a little bit, yeah? To what extent, again, It's absolutely up to you, and all is absolutely perfect. Right, so let's start. Again, I will ask you to look up as high as you possibly can. And just take a deep breath in and out. And you can feel your eyes are becoming heavy, droopy, drowsy. And again, take a deep breath in and out. And every time you blink, that is a deep relaxation coming upon you. And one last time, keeping your eyeballs rolled up. As you exhale now, just slowly close your eyelids right down, all the way down. And now you can just forget all about your eyes and just allow that drifting, floating feeling to develop in your body. And it's a really pleasant feeling. And you just allow it. Very good. And now I would like you to imagine that you're looking down 10 descending steps. And they are your steps. So whatever your mind comes up with or doesn't come up with is absolutely perfect. You can also drop your chin just a little so that you get that same feeling of looking over the balcony or down a flight of stairs. And I will guide you down these stairs into the most pleasant, safe, loving place. That it's all about being connected to yourself. So you are now moving on to step 10. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're moving on to step 9. And every sound, every noise, every movement around you is just taking you deeper and deeper. And deeper only means becoming more and more relaxed. You're now moving on to step 8. And with each and every step, you're letting go. You're letting go of any tension in your body. You're letting go of any worries, any stress. You're just letting it all go, and it feels so good to let go as you go deeper, move deeper onto step 7. And you're just becoming more and more relaxed, peaceful, calmer. As you move over onto step 6, and everything is in the right place at the right time as you now move even deeper into the awareness of yourself. Onto step 5. You're halfway there and there is no rush. As you go deeper, you're absolutely safe. You're safe as you move deeper now onto step 4. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go even deeper into your own inner awareness. And it just feels so natural. You're moving on to step 3. And you can see your feet, feel your feet, hear your feet treading each and every step. As you go deeper, becoming more peaceful, becoming one with yourself, more and more connected to your beautiful body, to your powerful mind, to your psyche, as you now move deeper onto step 2. As you easily, effortlessly, calmly move over onto an even deeper level of your inner awareness. And now you're moving on to the last step, and every time I click my fingers, you just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, and even deeper. That's perfect. And deeper really means becoming more and more connected to yourself, to your brilliant subconscious mind that has all the answers to your questions. It's sort of like a treasure chest. Everything that's ever happened to you, it's stored there. And right now, your mind is going to take you back to an event, experience, to a memory that you might remember, you might not, to a scene that's all to do with the time and place where you were absolutely happy, where you were full of joy, where your heart was singing. And I will count from 5 to 1, and your brilliant mind is going to take you there. So on a count of 5, you're pulled into this time tunnel. There is no time and no space, and you're drifting way back. You're faster than the speed of light. You're drifting way back right now to this most important, vital, crucial, significant scene, memory, experience, event that is all to do with you being so happy, connected, aligned, joyful. On a count of 4, you're becoming younger. On a count of 3, you're becoming smaller, lighter, shorter. On a count of 2, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. And on a count of 1, this scene, this memory, this experience is slowly springing in front of your eyes, like a dream slowly coming together in a shape and form. And as I click my fingers, just be there. And this scene where you are now, is it daytime or nighttime? Are you inside or outside? The picture is becoming clearer as I ask these questions, and you're getting more and more connected to these feelings that you felt when this memory was actually happening. You are in that memory. How old are you about? Are you alone, or is there people around you? What is happening in the scene? And what are you feeling? And why are you feeling that? What creates these feelings? And what else are you feeling?
So now just sitting
where
with these feelings. See yourself now in your mind's eye. Intensify the feelings. Let the feelings grow from within you. Becoming at peace with all of who you are. Feeling grounded and confident, all at the same time. And that vision of this happy, positive, content, healthy you. And so see the image of you now as you go forward. See the image of yourself. Maybe you're at home with family and friends, or maybe you're at work. Wherever you are, see yourself living this happy, content life, smiling and so comfortable now in your own skin, living with a sense of purpose and a wonderful peace of mind, no matter what is going on around you. You are owning all of who you are and loving it, accepting yourself as you become more aware of the beautiful attributes that make you, you, and that make others warm and respond to you. And as you keep fixing on this image now, feel a sense of empowerment. Empowerment to go forward in all of who you are. Confidence growing inside of you. It feels good to be this way. The true, authentic you. You are in flow. You are connected and at peace. Breathe deeply into your belly. Fill up your belly and your lungs. Allow your body to feel these sensations. And as you take that breath, make the picture bigger, brighter, sharper, and feel how this feels, all your senses responding to this picture coming alive, bubbling up within you. A new sense, positivity, excitement, being so at rest. Embody this feeling. Let it fill you right up from your head down to your toes, through into your arms and your fingertips. Your mind is simply accepting these words and these pictures and letting them come to pass. Your brilliant mind is soaking them up as if they're healing lotion soaking deeply into dry skin. And you let these words in. And as you go about the rest of your day now, you bring more and more of this into your reality, knowing that you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel confident. You can stand in the power of who you really are, and you can love all of yourself. You are a talented, lovable, capable, motivated human being. And the universe has put you on this planet to live with purpose and intention, to know love and abundance. And so now, as we count back from 5 to 1, you'll gradually come to full awareness. On the count of 5, feeling invigorated. On the count of 4, feeling confident and empowered. On the count of 3 and 2, feeling refreshed and free. And on the count of 1, come back, take a deep breath, and open up your eyes. Okay. So, how was that for everybody? Just a little taster of what that really feels like when you're going into that hypnosis, because when we've experienced that ourselves, and then we understand that we can do that for clients and change their lives, it's extremely transformational. Okay. So, Kat, did you want to take the feedback?
Yeah, sure. So, hello, welcome back, everybody. We can see the feedback that, lots of you felt a little bit dissociated when we changed the person. That was intentional. So I know that people are like, why was Kat interrupted? That's so rude. We did it on purpose, okay? And just bear in mind that this is the first time we're doing that. So we're also just trying out of different things, and we're definitely going to take the feedback on board. But anyway, what we would like to hear from you, if you can just write in the chat, any happy places that you've been, any happy feelings, any joyful scenes that you would be willing to share. Obviously, it's quite an exposing thing, probably quite vulnerable, but it would be lovely to hear from any of you. I remember when we were in training in Melbourne, me and Sarah actually, there was a guy who went back to a happy scene, and suddenly, he just started crying. His tears were flooding, and he actually revealed that he went back into the womb when his mother found out that she was pregnant with him. And it was just such an ecstatic moment, and he obviously went back there, so it was quite amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
can catch people out. I'm looking at the chat. We've got lots of different memories, lots of different experiences. Some people feeling tingly, some people feeling quite emotional, and that can be strange, can't it? When suddenly the emotions bubble up and you weren't expecting that. So really lovely, beautiful people camping on a creek, people going back to their childhoods. Some really, really beautiful scenes there coming up for lots of people in the chat. So really, really great job there. So I think time's ticking on. I know people have got lots of questions. There's lots of things we could tell you, but I think it's nice if we are able to go to Skip, and he will look at some of those questions that are coming up. We can hopefully be able to answer those for you.
Hey, everybody. It was so nice. I've been reading the chat as everything has been happening here. And yeah, that was just an awesome, wonderful experience. So, Sarah, could you walk us through when we do the virtual classrooms, when someone joins the RTT program, which is a lot like this, right? It's a lot of virtual online. I know the classrooms are between 3.5 to 5 hours sometimes. What does the structure of a virtual classroom look like? So I know here we got to have this, 40-minute taster right now. What's it normally like?
Yeah, so in the virtual classes, there's quite a mix of teaching input and then versus time to practice, because it's really important that students get that time to practice at their techniques that they're learning. So what we do is we have some of the session is like this, where everybody is in one room. Maybe some of the trainers are taking students through a demo of a part of the technique, talking that through, or doing some reflective work about some of the learning. Then the students will often go off into what we call the breakout rooms. So they're smaller little rooms on Zoom that you can go into. So it's like you've got your own little mini classroom. You can go off into the breakout room, and we would put you in a group of 3. So normally there's somebody that's practicing as the therapist, there's somebody that's practicing as the client, and then there's somebody that's observing. And we switch those roles out because all of those different roles are really, really useful in the learning process. And then we might come back, do some reflection on that. Then there'll be another piece of learning. So it's a very dynamic kind of situation. There's a lot going on from the learning point of view and then the practice point of view. And I know the students, the feedback that comes back from that is like, whoa, I felt a bit nervous to do that, but now I've dipped my toe in the water. I'm just so excited, and I can't wait to carry on with the next stage of my journey.
Amazing. So in the virtual classrooms, they're actively practicing not just the exercise, but guiding people through the exercise that you're teaching. So they're actually kind of, doing it professionally in the virtual classrooms themselves.
Absolutely. We kind of really, encourage that from the get-go. So what we've done today would be something that, we've done that as an experience for you, but really we're doing that with the kind of insight of like, okay, well then we would then go on and you'd be then doing that for others. So it's always learn a bit, do a bit, learn a bit, do a bit, because that's how learning really, really gets integrated real quickly.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a bunch of different questions here in the Q&A, and there's just one I want to cover like right now, which is, can you speak to the assessments that someone goes through in the RTT program?
Yeah, absolutely. We love assessments over here. It's the teacher in us. So there's very much a kind of continual assessment process. So with the assessment framework that we've developed, it actually then speaks into all of the modules. So the online learning is modular. So you work your way through the modules, and you can do that at your own pace. But then we've kind of got the assessment framework so that you can then look across and say, okay, now I should be working at these levels. And it helps you just to kind of get a really good understanding of where you're sitting. So there's 3 levels of assessment, whether you're developing your skills, whether you're retaining those skills, or whether you're excelling in those. And we put some responsibility on the students because we believe our students understand themselves better than anyone else. So it's like, okay, well, I can then use that, and I can measure myself against that. Halfway through the learning, there's an opportunity to do what we call a midpoint review. So that means you can check in and say, okay, at this stage of my learning, halfway through, I actually feel I'm either still developing, I feel like I'm pretty there, I'm attaining, or I'm really, really good, I'm really confident, and so I'm excelling. And at that point, if you want to check in with a tutor and have a little catch up, there's an opportunity to do that. Then you go on, complete the rest of the studies. And then at the end of the program, we have 2 different forms of assessment. There's a written assessment. So that's an online assessment that you take when you feel that you're ready. And then you book yourself in for what we call the final review. And that's over Zoom. So it's something like this, but you're working with a client, and then one of our wonderful tutor team are observing you take your session, and they give you direct feedback there and then when you're doing that.
Wonderful. That's absolutely amazing. So then I wonder, what are the other like components that tutors are involved in? So people like Katerina and Michelle, do people meet those from like day one, or when do they get opportunities to check in with tutors throughout?
Yeah, so the tutors are there to provide the support. We've also got the support team, so the support team are available for calls. So if you need to check in on some of the aspects of your course and how to access some of that, then you've always got the support calls that you can do at any time. The tutors are there to offer the midpoint review. That we also have the tutor group sessions. So as long as the virtual classrooms are the longer training sessions, and then we have 4 smaller group sessions, which are the tutor groups. So it's a little bit more intimate. You get to do some practice of the technique as well. You get some feedback within those tutor groups. And because of the nature of those sessions being a bit smaller, it's a little bit more direct for you. And then towards the end of the training, when you've done some what we call reflective practices, so you link up with other students, you go through full sessions, and then you come to your final tutor group with a case study of one of your sessions you've done, and we give you direct feedback on that one there at that point too.
What's your personal favorite part of the training process?
Oh, that's so hard to say. I think that all the different elements have different really great things about them. I love the buzz of being in the group sessions. I love connecting with students one-to-one. I think, seeing somebody that was a little bit nervous about their abilities at the beginning, and then they've suddenly made a leap forward, and we see that, and it's like, whoa, that person's got it. At the end, when students have taken their assessment and they get their feedback, and we hear so many amazing stories, of people who are like, I know I'm going to go take this. We had a lady recently, and she was like, I come from a marginalized, community, and I know that there's so many women I want to go and help now I've passed. And of course, we share that joy. That's just wonderful when we hear those stories.
Yeah, wow, incredible. And I got to meet last week, we were all in Rushton at the 5-day live in-person training, and I got to meet you in person, and I got to meet, I think we had 94 in training therapists there. Some had graduated already. They're all at different points along the journey. And it was really interesting to see those different people on different points in the journey. And there were people that were so excited about just the online training that they were literally yelling into cameras, talking about how amazing it had been and just how much more robust the training was than what they anticipated. I think most people, they hear about rapid transformational therapy, they hear it's a 6-month training, and they've probably done online courses before, and they think they're going to get on, there's going to be some virtual modules, and they're going to like tick boxes and take little online assessments. And yes, all of that is true. And there's so much more to the process. The team, the faculty, the school has done such an incredible job at making this wonderful harmony of the online content that's self-paced with things like virtual classrooms, with all these different touch points. So it's really just an incredible experience that has a lot of flexibility in how someone can graduate and pass their assessments and become what they feel is a competent professional to be able to go out and do work as an RTT therapist. and also to be able to do like mostly online and sort of hide from the world if that's what you want to do. Although I would recommend people do the live after experiencing it. I think it's incredible. It's not necessary to do the 5-day live in person, but wow, that was an amazing experience. Someone asked, are there any successful RTT therapists? We'll cover that in a little bit, but yes, many, many, many of them.
Many.
You know, overall, Sarah, do you have what's the accurate number of graduates to your knowledge?
Oh my gosh, I don't know the last number. I know it's in
Uh-oh,
the, I
I
know
think I
it's
might have lost Sarah there.
oh, am I still there? Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm still here. Yeah.
Yep, great. Yeah, it's running into the thousands. I don't know the exact number at the moment, but yeah, we've got grads all over the world, all going off and making a difference. And yeah, you're right. The live is amazing, but the robustness of, going back to your point there about the robustness of the learning, it's like that's our passion. That's my passion, at least, because it's like, yeah, we want this to be an experience, but we want to go away and know that we've got therapists who can go off into the world, and they're confident, they've got the skills, and we've said yes, we've seen you in action, and we know, hand on heart, that we can send you away and go and start doing that straight away. So yeah.
Yeah. I want to get to more questions, but before the hour is up, I want to make sure everyone here has an opportunity, because we have some really great things and great news for everybody here, but also I have some bad news for everybody here. The great news is, if you've attended this webinar, you get a $500 option of a scholarship if it's something that you need for signing up for the program. So we're going to be dropping the link in the chat for everybody to be able to book a call with someone on the team to go over the prices. I know some people in the chat were talking about different prices that they've heard. And there's payment plans. We do it all ourselves. So we make sure to work with you and create the best solution possible. Our goal is to get 250,000 RTT therapists out in the world. And right now we're somewhere between that 10 and 15,000 mark. I'm actually still hunting down the accurate number of graduates. And I say graduates because there's actually quite a few people, I don't know, somewhere in the 10 to 20% range, that decide to go through the RTT training, but never actually have the intention of becoming a working rapid transformational therapist, but they see the profound change that could happen in their own personal life, learning all these rules of the mind, applying all these different techniques, and being able to do it with their friends, their family, their loved ones, right? And with themselves. So some people, that actually is their route, or maybe they do it part-time. And so someone here, Katerina, says there's 7,384 official RTT graduates. And then at any given point in time, I think we have between 1,500 and 2,500 that are in the student journey process, where they're on the road to graduation at any given time. So I want to make sure that you all get the opportunity. Here's the bad news, okay? The bad news is, and I've seen it this morning, we have very, very few slots available to book a call with one of our team. So if you want to get your questions answered and you want to sign up for the program, you want to look at all the different payment plan options, and you want to apply for that $500 scholarship with the team, I think there's something like 20 to 30 slots available total. And there was over 800 people on just the Zoom side of this, not including the replays and people who couldn't make it live. So definitely, if you're interested, book a call. But if you do book a call, know that the price for Rapid Transformational Therapy, the full-blown virtual training, where it's got elements of the virtual classroom and elements of the online modules that we were discussing, not the live in person, that starts around the $9,700 US mark. And that can go up depending on what payment plan that you do, and if you do the live 5-day in person. And the 5-day in person, it ranges depending on how far in advance that you sign up and the exact location. But we'll say it starts somewhere around, including the online. So you've got your $9,750 for the online. It's usually about 3,000 to 4,000 more to add the 5-day live in person option. And it's absolutely incredible. It's not necessary to do it, but it is extremely useful. And everyone that went had an incredible experience. And you even have the opportunity to get a live session with Marisa in front of everybody. So, they take applications a couple weeks out from the event, and then Marisa every day goes through the list of everyone's different things and then chooses people that have things that she's really interested in helping with. And that session is amazing, because what they do is Marisa does about an hour and a half to 2 hour session and then opens it up for Q&A. So everyone in the room is training to become a rapid transformational therapist professional. And so they get to ask questions now that they've gone through a lot of the modules in the virtual classrooms on why Marisa did what she did. And then you get to hear her perspective on it, because she's been doing this for 35 years, right? So I want to open it up for Q&A, but make sure if you really want to sign up and you want to get in this September cohort, that you get going now, and you can hopefully apply for that $500 scholarship if you need it. If you don't need it, make sure to leave it for people who do need it, because we only have so many slots for that at any given time. So yeah, let's start going to Q&A. So Sarah, Katerina, Michelle, I'll put you all on the screen.
Great, yeah. I just saw a question about, does this work one-to-one? Yeah, actually, although we're doing this in a group scenario, it's not usual. We kind of adapt our scripts to work with a group. And also that gives you an indication of how you could potentially use it with groups. And some people do love to specialize in doing that particularly. But for the majority of people, they're working one-to-one with clients, because, you know, we're really dealing with client issues, and that's the key thing of how we work. Somebody else said, can you do this if it doesn't really work on you? I think that's a really interesting question. And going back to what I was saying about how different people experience what hypnosis feels like, just to speak into that a little bit, one of my very good friends and colleagues who did the training, alongside Kat and I did our training at the same time actually, and another one of our friends who did the training at the same time, she says, oh, I never ever have felt like I've gone into hypnosis. And yet she's one of the most effective RTT therapists I've ever met. So don't let that feel like, oh, okay, I didn't really feel so much today. Don't let that put you off. That's not going to stop you being a really, really good practitioner.
Yep, absolutely. And Sarah, one of the questions here, how often do we do our orientation? Is that on Mondays, I feel like?
Yes. I'm not really sure how often that's taking place. I know it's a very much a regular event. I wouldn't like to say it's definitely Mondays, because that's the support side who run those. But definitely, yes, it's very regular. So so there's lots of opportunities for you to make sure that you take part in the orientation process.
Awesome. So the other thing, I'm seeing a lot of questions about pricing and whatnot. So a lot of people think that you have to have the, that $97.50 for the virtual classroom live online, 6 months to 1 year program all up front. But we actually created a whole system to do our own payment plans to help more and more people get into this work. And looks like yep. And so the lowest price that you could start today, if you apply for the scholarship and they accept it and we have enough slots for that, you can get started for $450. You can actually log in and get going for $450 on day one. And then you go to a monthly payment plan. And payment plans do cost more because, for a lot of different reasons, but we take that risk up front because we provide the payment plan. So we are sort of guaranteeing your payment for you so that you can pay over time. And one of the biggest things that I deal with, and I'm the CEO of the company, is helping figure out how to get those payment plans to work for everybody. And so the reason why those exist is so we can get more and more people in the program. And please, if you do a payment plan, choose the one that's best for you. We don't have anything longer than 24 months. 24 months is a super, super long payment plan for something like this, but hopefully your money mindset and your life improves so dramatically in doing the work and in doing the program. And once you start seeing clients, and I've got lots of special treats coming down the way for all students and graduates. Going to be doing a lot of marketing and sales education at no additional cost for all students going forward. So I'm really excited to deliver more and more of that education for everybody.
Yeah, I just want to say actually, when I thought about doing it, I did think, whoa, that's a lot of money. I don't normally spend that amount of money on anything before. Would I ever regret that? Not ever in my entire life. It was the best decision I ever made. So yeah, don't let that hold you up. Definitely it's worth every single penny of the training, not because of just what you learn, but like Skip said, the experience you have, and you grow so much along the way. You've changed so much, and so your whole outlook on how you live your life, what you do, how you can receive things into your life changes as well along the process. So it's a win-win.
And I'd like to add something there. I also thought like it was a lot of money, but think about it as a career, because it's really a career and you will be making money out of it later. So it's an investment in yourself and an investment in your career. And it's a kind of therapy that it's very well paid. So keep that in mind also. You will improve your life, you will improve other people's lives, and also you will get a great career. So don't think it's so much. And if you're feeling it, do it.
Yeah, and someone just now, Lotta said, as far as she can remember, the prices used to be lower. And so what we've done over the years is we've just consistently improved the education model. And we've needed to add so many things to make, because, we really want to be the absolute best training program that we can be. There's a lot of people that, play in the coaching space, and they deliver things that are fractional programs where they give you some of the tools and the resources necessary to succeed. And what we constantly ask ourselves is, how do we make an affordable program that also delivers absolutely everything that we feel you need to be wildly successful, to have a thrilling career, and to really know how to do this? And we're constantly adding all of the time. And as a part of that, and with just, economic factors in the last 4 years, right? You kind of never know how the economy is going to shift. So the price just reflects all of the additional things we keep adding to make your certification more and more robust, so that you can trust that, you could talk to Sarah, Michelle, and Katerina all day about how much we just are constantly improving and adding to the program, investing in the tutors, investing in our team to get more and more educated and training across the board. But this team is world class. Like, you will absolutely love every single person you interact with. And if these three are any representation to you, trust that the whole team is this passionate and this in love with the program. The scholarship, if you get accepted for it, is $500 off the total price. And the best part about the scholarship is it's $500 off the first day price. So if you sign up for a payment plan, it's usually, I think like the 12-month payment plan is $950 per month. And so it takes $500 off that first month payment. So that's a lot easier for you to get started, and then to be able to sort your finances to make sure it works for you in the long run. So many other questions. Ladies, I'll let you take a few.
Yeah, I saw somebody was asking, a few of you were asking if Marisa is teaching. She's definitely part of the course. She's so, essential for RTT. So she's always there. And obviously in live, she's there in person. And like Skip said, she's delivering sessions as well. And in virtual classroom, she's also having her own master classes and her own teaching sessions.
Yeah, and the library, our online modules are full of Marisa talking through the technique. We've got a whole library of demonstration sessions. So, if you're working with different issues with clients and you're thinking, I just don't know how to approach that, then there's always like some really excellent, useful demonstrations of how to approach that. So by the time you've come through, you're really equipped to be confident to deal with several issues. Most of our graduates then go on and they'll specialize in a particular niche. Some people come to us, they've already had quite a lot of experience in a particular area. They may already have been therapists in a certain way, or they've just got a particular heart for working with a certain sector of people, and that's great. Some people don't know, they want to just be completely general, and then they want to see how their practice develops and who is coming into them, and who particular issues that they feel that they're successful with and they have confidence with. So it can go both ways for how it pans out for people.
I also see here a question asking if you can use the scripts in other languages. We know we have people from all around the world. I'm in Mexico, so I did the course in English. I adapted everything to Spanish. Now we have a course in Spanish, but what I want to say is that we have students all around the world. And what's great about that is that they also form their groups. So there's a community in Germany, for example, from RTT therapists, and they translate and they practice. Or there's a community in France, there's a community in South Africa. There are many communities around the world. So you will do your training basically in English, but you will be able to connect with people that speak your language, and they will share. We are a great community. We share things. We want others to succeed as well. So you will have a very supportive group here. And yeah, it's a great experience.
I love the question. Somebody just asked, is there, sorry, Skip, I got excited about this. Somebody said, is there an age limit? Do you know what? We have young people, we have old people, we have people just changing careers. We had a lovely guy who was like in his 80s. He really wasn't used to tech, and so it was a massive learning curve for him, but he came on, he made his way through the course, just so super, and just his just like desire to just carry on learning at that age of his life was just really inspiring.
Amazing. And something else I'd like to throw out there, because a lot of people talk about the cost of it, right? And the cost of it is what is absolutely necessary. I think if we were to put this program together today, and especially from scratch, where we didn't have such a robust and awesome team, I think it would probably cost somewhere between 40 or 50,000 to put together an education model like this, for per student to actually do this. So it's only because we have so many years of experience of putting this together and really asking how to do this in a different way to like university, right? And teaching something like this where it's truly a career program that you don't need any prior education or experience for, but it does help to have prior education and experience. I would say that is useful. And I know Sarah right now is in a master's degree program while she's head of curriculum and delivery for the school. So everyone here is just a total rock star. But something else we can talk maybe a little bit about, because I just got the info that we actually now, if you're booking a call right now, you're actually getting a different type of call booked because we have no call slots available. So you're getting booked into someone that's going to have a shorter conversation to really make sure you're going to the right program for you. And speaking of the right program for you, I talked about the virtual online program where that starts at a full pay price of $9,750 without the scholarship. And that's only for the virtual online classroom option, where it's still the same length of time, 6 to 12 months, depending on how fast you get through the education. But it still involves, we don't have any trimmed down versions of that program because everything that's in there is what we believe is absolutely necessary for you to be a rock star rapid transformational therapist. However, because of different economies around the world, we did put together a different program that Sarah and I had some conversations about yesterday. And when you're on the call with our team, they'll talk about that if that's something that you feel like you need. And if that price point is just completely out of range for you right now, we've got something called the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy. Sarah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we developed this program about 2 years ago, and really we felt that there was a gap between what RTT offers, which is, as you've seen and as we've talked about so much, it's a huge, massive therapy. It's a great hypnotherapy technique. It's been very, very effective, but we felt that there was still a space for us to have a slightly different hypnotherapy technique. So we're still using some of the main principles of RTT, but just a real compact version. So this is something that you can still work with for many issues: confidence, performance, around fears and phobias. It's a little bit condensed, so we don't have so much of the whole kind of RTT toolkit in a way. We're drawing on what's called parts therapy, so we're just working with that. If you've got a background in therapeutic interventions, you would understand that. If not, don't worry, you don't have to understand what that is, but just to kind of paint a little bit of a picture. So this is a much, the pricing point is a lot more accessible for certain people, and that might be something that you really feel that's right for you at this point in time.
Yeah, and as a part of that, right, we incorporate a little bit of some of it's not all online material. I mean, it's all online, but there is some live engagement, and people were also asking questions RTT. So some of it is pre-recorded content. There are, I think, about 300 hours of pre-recorded content in the course. Not that all of that is necessary to graduate, but a lot of the RTT virtual training is live online, just like this. Like you'll be in a Zoom room, and people were asking earlier, how do you do like breakout rooms if it's online? Well, Zoom has this incredible functionality. I'm sure AI and some technological wizards built this, but there's a function that has breakout rooms where we can automatically place you into breakout rooms. So it's quite incredible. And that's how we use a lot of the actual RTT training. And so a lot of it is like this. A lot of it is exactly what you experienced today, but because you're becoming a professional, you're not just experiencing it, but you're also helping deliver the experience in your little breakout rooms. And there's lots of other components along the whole journey. Here, there's a lot more questions coming in today. Anybody else want to take some of these?
Yeah, sure. I saw one before asking about insurance. So we don't insure you, but with this certification, you can definitely get insurance. Well, in the UK for sure. There were questions actually about what about elsewhere in the world, and our support team is there to answer any of these questions because they know specifically with which country and what regulations or what do you need there for that country. So I know that some countries actually you can't be a hypnotherapist, maybe if you're not maybe a medical doctor or something else, psychologist. And so what we did is we just changed that certificate to call you a coach or whatever so that you can actually work in that country. So we do have team who would help you there. That was the insurance. Anything else? I'm checking now.
There's a few other things I'm seeing here as well. Something I'd like everybody to know is if that 9750 is just way out of your price range right now, but you still want to work on improving your life. I got some really beautiful messages, like this one from Tanya said she's currently enrolled in the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy program, and she said it's already been life-changing. And because it's been so helpful, now she's considering the full RTT program. Now, here's what's really special about that. If you have signed up for the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy, we actually take that price off of your full RTT training. So you're actually able to sign up for the full RTT training with, and the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy comes in at $29.50 for the full program. And also we have payment plan options for that. So if you've paid the $29.50 for the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy to get that essential, very specific skill set of doing hypnotherapy sessions with people on things like confidence and success, then you'll actually be able to get RTT for a lot lower cost because you've already paid some of the cost and you've already gotten hopefully a lot of practice and some really great experiences getting some of that student journey while going through that certificate.
Yeah, I think that's a really good route in for a lot of people, and the feedback that we've got is yeah, then they're thinking, yes, I know this is for me, you know, this was a good step in, a first step, and now I do want to take it further. Or some are happy, you know, they're really enjoying what they've learned in that, and they're already working with clients that way too. So yeah.
Yeah. And people are asking, is the scholarship available from or for the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy? It's not. So we actually don't offer that $500 scholarship off of the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy because it's a much lower cost course. And so we've really made that one as low cost as we could make it to give you everything we need to give you. And so it's truly a wonderful introduction to the world of hypnotherapy. Whereas with RTT, you learn so many other tools. But it is wonderful to start with that Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy and then to bridge that gap into becoming a fully fledged rapid transformational therapist.
Yeah, and there's also, they're not so long as with the RTT course, but you also do get to work with some of the tutors in what we call the development groups on that program as well. So you still get that quite guided learning. You still have an assessment part to that as well. So it's a thorough course.
There was also a question asking if you should work on your blockages before you sign up for any program. No, not at all. Like, it's okay to get into the program and you will find that healing journey for yourself as well, right? And I think that healing journey is an ongoing journey. And I think graduates, therapists, we still keep working on ourselves through all the time, but also we are able to help other people at the same time.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Because once you start on this journey, that's it. You're kind of on a journey for life now. It's you're never going to stop learning. You're never going to stop developing. You're never going to stop growing, and it's just amazing that you get that opportunity, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would think most of the people that actually work in the faculty and work in the school started as a student, right? Like pretty much everybody started just as a student and then fell so deeply in love with the work, with the program, with the vision of what we're, trying to create in the world and what we've already created so much of in the world and working towards more and more. So many exciting announcements coming down the pipe. So if you are a student and you're enrolled, you'll see there's just always new things being developed and new things coming out. I know next week you'll see there's going to be some really amazing things coming out, and if you're at all involved in the brand, you're going to see lots of awesome things coming down the pipe from emails. So make sure to check your emails regularly because we are always sending out new information. A lot of people are asking these different questions about regulations in their state and country. I'm going to be totally honest with everybody. It is wild how different all 200 or so countries in the world, and within each country, each jurisdiction has their own rules and regulations. So we, for the most part, encourage everyone to do their own research in their own area. While we do have support for that and helping people get it figured out, it's wild. It's truly wild, like not just how different the policies can be, but how often those policies change and shift. So we've got sort of best practices, and that's why, if you don't do the live in-person training, it's a Rapid Transformational Therapy practitioner, because a practitioner you can pretty much do anywhere in the world. No one has regulations on being a practitioner of something. But when you want to call yourself a Rapid Transformational Therapist, we've really got to, you've got to do some research into your own jurisdictions and where you are in the world. And then we, absolutely request that everyone gets their own business insurance wherever they are in the world, which is necessary of any business that you would do. If you opened up an ice cream shop, you'd want to have insurance because it's a food product, right? So anyone, you're going to want to do that. And it's not definitely not expensive at all. And also something else that's really interesting in the RTT community, and it very much is a community, it's very family centric, is people are always starting accountability groups and like study groups to do more and more practice and research on their own for people in their area and with similar interests.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Skip, I know I think quite a lot of the questions are coming from people in the US, and I do know that the majority of our students, like you say, it does vary from state to state. So I don't want to say anything very specific into that, as it always changes as well. But like you said, just taking away, using the practitioner title, or some people call themselves a hypnotist rather than a hypnotherapist, and we'll get around it that way, so that nearly everybody finds a way to be able to practice. There's just knowing a few little tweaks to be able to do to make sure that works for you.
Wonderful. I think we'll probably do like 3 or 4 more minutes of questions answering. So we can go through a couple more of these. I know that we just opened up a few more slots for people, so make sure to book your call as soon as you can, because those are going to fill up in a couple minutes, is my guess, like 60 seconds or so. So if you have really specific questions, if you book your call, you can get those questions answered. But I would request that if you book a call, please show up to the call. Please show up. It's so, I get so many angry messages from my team when you guys don't show up on calls, and they get so frustrated. They send me sad faces. I'm not even kidding. Like, I get photos from them and they're like, why? I had 3 people not show up to my calls today. So please show up, even if you're going to ask like just a couple questions, right? Definitely, or reschedule it. If something comes up, reschedule as soon as you can. But don't not reschedule it if something comes up, because as you can see here, like, we don't have a ton of time to be able to answer. We have so many students with so many other questions that we're doing a lot of things. So yeah, please show up. Let's see here. Do we pay for being annually certified? No. You don't pay for being annually certified, but we do have an alumni program, and that is at a cost, but they're very low cost for these programs. Sarah, can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, so for graduates, we want to be able to provide them with some ongoing support. We have some additional resources that are available to people that join the alumni program. There's master classes, and then there's that sense of community. So that's quite important for people. You know, you don't want to just go off and be on your own trying to operate. Really, the RTT, we are a family. We call ourselves a family. So it's not like it just stops when you do the training. So if you want to take advantage of the alumni program, then that's a really great opportunity for you going forward. Yeah.
I'm going to do something just a touch off script. We've got about 120 seconds left on this, but I'm going to do something for you guys. I keep getting the question, what are the tools in RTT? And I'm going to screen share real quick and show you the PDF document that has the 13 listed on there. We don't have time to answer the questions about each one and their things, but we will have at some point in the future, I'm not sure when, we'll go over all of that. The replay of this, I'm gonna do a couple announcements that I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions about. The replay of this will be live on YouTube within 30 minutes of this ending. So within 30 minutes, this replay will be live on YouTube on the Marisa Peer channel. So the Marisa Peer YouTube channel will have this replay. If we spoke really fast, or if you just totally fell in love with Katerina's voice and Sarah's voice on the hypnosis, you want to redo or look at anything, you do not need to renew the certification. Any specific questions that weren't answered today, because there were so many coming in, if you book your call, you can get those questions answered. You don't have to sign up if you book your call, but please show up to the call so that you can get your questions answered and so that I don't get sad faces from the team. But here, let me go ahead and share this. Here we go. So this is what the tools looks like. So obviously setting up the client for success, the intake process is really fascinating. So if you go onto the Marisa Peer YouTube channel, there's a session that was done live with actually one of our team. Her name is Megan. It's a few months ago. I want to say it was posted in late April, early May. And you can see kind of a really quick version, not of everything here, but of a lot of the things. And you'll see Marisa, when she does sessions, she always kind of bounces around to different tools because she's so competent in them. So the intake is really important because it's getting clear on what that person actually believes they need to be working on. And I'm just going to skip through these because Sarah could do a much deeper dive, and we will at some point. But then the induction, so you can remember when Kat was bringing you through the stairs and going down the stairs, and that's just really getting you into that deep mindfulness state. The suggestibility and deepeners, so doing all of that work, detective work, child in the room. So there's a lot of variations on that, but I'm not sure if they did that in today's one, but that's another tool, left hand, right hand, role, function, purpose. And is it intention, Sarah? What's the I stand for?
Yeah, very good. Intention.
Yeah, the It's Not Me, which is just a wonderful one. And then upgrading the child. And you'll start to, the names are actually really well done. And when you see sessions with Marisa, you'll see, sort of all the different things showing up: reframing, transformation, command cell therapy, which actually I broke my foot in 3 places in Jamaica in 2017 while I was dressed up as Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. And with those broken bones, Marisa did a cell command therapy and I stopped limping immediately. Results will vary from person to person. And then the healing vortex, which we all love so much. And Marisa's done now a money vortex, an abundance vortex, healing vortex. So really incredible. That was a really quick sneak peek into the 13 tools. I'm sorry we can't answer more questions on today's call, but I'm really excited to see everybody in the classroom very soon and excited to see you at orientation. I know Sarah, Michelle, and Kat are all really excited to meet you and help you become the best rapid transformational therapist that you can become. So thank you everybody for attending today's call. Make sure to get all your questions answered by the team. And I hope to see you very soon again. Thanks everybody. Thanks Sarah. Thanks Michelle. Thanks Kat.